What's up, everybody? Before we get going, just want to let you know today's guest, Shaun Murphy, is hilarious. You're going to love him. And he's recording a new comedy special at the Comedy Cellar in New York City on August 10th. That is a Sunday night. The shows are at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Get your tickets to that. Also, Phil Duckett and we did our live pod a couple weeks ago. It was absolutely fantastic. We're now recording this. I'm recording this after the fact, so I can tell you it was a blast. We're going to keep doing more of them. Thank you to everyone who came out and everyone who was not there. Patreon.com/black and white advice. You can go there right now. And the entire video of the question and answer segment at the end of the show is up. So for $5, you can go watch the whole thing from the New York Comedy Club, which we recorded about 10 days ago. That's it. Let's get to the show.
Have you ever had a question you wanted to ask the opposite race but you were too nervous to ask?
I'm Turner Sparks.
And I'm Phil Duckett.
And this is Black and White Advice.
Where we answer all your questions about race, even the scary ones.
This is Black and White Advice.
You've got a question but you're scared to ask. Just drop the boys a message cause they're up to the task. They're rolling the dice, they ain't always nice, but you can't think twice and giving black and white advice. Black and white advice.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. My name's Turner Sparks.
Mr. Phil Duckett.
We got behind the glass, spinning the dial, switching the knobs on the ones and twos, the threes and fours. Joe, the muscle Russell, making it all happen. Joe, how you doing?
Actually, it's Peter Griffin.
Oh,
Hey.
That's a good one.
Better than your last couple.
Was that the whole impression, though?
Guys, I'm running out of impressions.
Nobody asked you to do this, Joe.
You can recycle, though.
Or you could just be Joe. We've never required this of you.
He opens with an impression every week. The best so far, I think, have been Bill Cosby and Rush Limbaugh. Those are my two favorites.
Macho Man wasn't bad.
Macho Man was good. I forgot about Macho Man.
But yeah, let's not put that straight on Joe, all right? He's fighting for his life.
Yeah, I know. He's really stressed out about it. I can tell. You guys, patreon.com/black. Oh, no, I forgot my sponsor again.
Go ahead and do it on your own.
I do have a sponsor. I'm going to have to. God.
You can do it later when I'm gone.
Because now that we're not making enough on Patreon, so I just went out and got my own sponsors. Oh, nice. But just for me, not for the show.
Okay.
So Michael Jackson has torn off from the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here
I
like
encourage
Tito.
everyone to go get their own sponsors.
Do we get to know what it is?
Yeah, well, I had the box. There's an earwax company that's interested in
I'm so
sponsoring
glad
me.
they didn't ask me to do that.
And
shit.
it's called the Master Blaster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they made earwax.
No, they blast it out of your ear. They're a great company, and they're paying me $27.
I feel like as a black man, they should have asked me to do that. The Master Blaster, that shit's gangster. Killing masses.
He's got bigger ears, though.
Yeah.
It's like this guy. Yeah, that's why they came for me. It's target marketing.
Master Blaster.
They shoot this stuff into your ear. They're real. I love, they're great people over there. And $27, they said they'd pay me.
Every time you say Master Blaster?
No, I have to have the box, so I don't even think I get. This is a free one.
Oh, fuck that. I don't do nothing for free. So I'm waiting on Hennessy to reach out.
Anyway, they're great people. On the show today, for everyone else, patreon.com/black and white advice. On the show today, the voice you've already heard, that's the great Shaun Murphy, stand-up comedian from Buffalo, New York, originally. Resident of New York City. Tours the world with Mark Norman, with Joe List, with a couple other people.
I'm never open for Joe List, but I'll pretend I look enough like him. I'll take
people?
it.
Sam Morrell, they're all the same person at this point. They've all melded into one podcast host.
You're from Buffalo. How long?
Yes, sir.
How long did you live there? Your whole life?
Yeah.
So would you and Joe go to rival high schools?
This is what I wanted to. You know what I want to ask?
Joe's from Buffalo.
I didn't know that. Oh, yeah.
Well, what about your parents'
this is
high
exciting.
school?
We'll get to that in a minute. What high school did you go to?
North Tonawanda High School.
I went to St. Joe's.
Oh.
Catholic
Hey,
school.
ooh, la la, must be nice. I went to Jesuit.
And then I immediately, our family couldn't afford the college, so I went public college.
Oh, wow, that's the switcheroo. Most people would go.
And you know
public
what?
High school,
the right way
college.
to do it because no college debt.
But you have high school debt.
Yeah, but I mean,
Crippling high school debt.
Wait a minute. Public university still costs money.
It does.
Yeah, that's true.
It does, but it's way cheaper.
Oh,
than
I was
that.
like, no debt. I'm like, you still owe something. Them books are like $600 a
Would you
pop.
go Buffalo State?
University of Buffalo.
UB? You a Bull?
UB, I'm a Bull.
I went to grad school at Miami University, so they're in the MAC, so we played.
Right, Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, that's where I went.
I was Miami, Florida.
The real Miami.
Hey, it actually did open before University of Miami. That's why we call ourselves the real Miami.
Do you know that people would always ask me my entire life when I say I went to University of Miami, they go, which one? Like people who want to sound smart.
Yeah.
I go, the real one. What are you talking about?
No, the real one is Miami of Ohio. Us opened in 1809.
Let's take a poll.
Thank
Let's
you.
take a poll of the United States.
Until football was a thing, y'all were nobodies.
That is true.
Yeah.
Howard Schnellenberger turned it around down
Yeah,
there.
man.
There were some good MAC football players.
Khalil Mack went to
Khalil
UB,
Mack went to
motherfucker.
UB?
Yeah, when I was at Miami, he played for it, because I remember going to watch him play.
Who was the Shaq of the Mac? Remember that basketball player they called the Shaq of the Mac? It was like tractor trailer.
Yeah, he
somebody.
played at Bowling Green State University.
Was it Bowling Green?
Yeah, he played
Okay.
at Bowling
I
Green.
forget his
I know
name.
exactly what you're talking about. Big dude. He was nice.
It was a great nickname, though.
Yeah, but we at Miami, we had Wally Zerbiak, Ben Roethlisberger, Plies. I don't know, the rapper Plies played football at Miami. Yeah, we had
Uncle Luke.
And we have the cradle of coaches, you know what I mean? Like, all the greatest coaches went to coached at Miami. Well, Miami of Ohio is the real deal. You know, we're called the Harvard of the Midwest.
Phil Duckett coached at
I coached
University.
I coached at Miami. I was the grad assistant. My dad was
for the football team?
Basketball.
Oh,
Yeah, so back in
nice.
the day before I started
What's your best
comedy.
record?
Oh, we were terrible. We got fired.
We got fired.
I literally left and moved to New York 2016. They gave him one more season. They fired him next year. I got out right in time. And my dad, my dad was associate coach. I was like, he was like, we're gonna get let go. I said, of course.
We're gonna get let go.
They literally had their best season this past year in the last 25 years. They
Really?
one game away from the NCAA tournament. They lost to Akron. Akron came back, won in the MAC
UB
championship.
women won the
You women be shopping.
women be playing basketball.
Women be hooping.
What's the one that's not the March Madness? What's the one
NIT.
below that? NIT. They won the NIT this year.
Wow.
Let me ask you
Not
something.
bad.
Wasn't
We have a debate that's been going on.
I love a good debate.
You're from
I'm gonna get
Buffalo.
ready.
this has been going on for multiple
From
episodes of the
okay.
show.
Oh.
Joe
that's
told
exciting.
us a very disheartening tale weeks ago that his father went to high school in Buffalo, and back in PE class when they would have swimming, they did it naked.
Wow.
Is that? Have you heard that in Buffalo? Did your parents swim naked? Yes or no?
In
I
gym class.
assume no.
Wow, really?
I mean, I don't know. I
He's
didn't
never
ask
asked
them. It
us.
doesn't
But
come
now
up.
you're about to open up a can of worms. Are your parents still with
It's going
us?
to be a great Thanksgiving.
Okay. They're very like, can you
I
ask
will
them?
bring it up. I'll ask
Be
them.
like, so
Ask
I
them,
know a guy
mashed
from
potatoes.
Buffalo. His dad's from Buffalo. He said that in gym class back in the day.
Call
which I'm
them.
assuming-
Call your parents right now.
Call them on the air.
Did y'all swim naked? That's what you got to ask them in
I'll
gym
ask
class.
them.
So we did had Matt Wayne was on the show a couple weeks ago and said his parents also swam naked.
In Iowa.
Whoa.
In Iowa. It was a
No. One of our listeners wrote in and said their parents did in Iowa.
Oh.
Matt Wayne's from Buffalo.
Yes, correct.
So he said in Buffalo his
He
parents
said
swam
parents did
naked
it
too.
Your parents have a whole life.
So it's
you
a
know
Rust
nothing
Belt
about.
in the across the Rust Belt.
And I don't know if it's girls. I know it's just the guys.
That is even more terrifying.
So I don't know-
They didn't even want to see the women. They just wanted to see little boy dicks. That's crazy.
Bizarre. High school?
Definitely middle school. I don't know about high school.
Definitely middle school.
So-
in high school, they put clothes on.
Ironically, you went to private school. Maybe they didn't at the Catholic.
It was a Catholic.
No,
private
it was
school.
that's the 2000. This probably stopped happening in the 1950.
This my
How old do you think his parents are?
60s, 70s, and earlier.
Joe Russell's 60
whatever.
years old?
We were in high
That's
school.
great.
This
We
is
were
the
in high
Great
school.
Depression
In the
era.
2000s, that would have never happened.
Yeah, that would never happen.
Yeah.
My point is it wouldn't have happened by the 90s, the 80s.
But did your parents go to Catholic school as well?
I believe so.
So
Do
maybe
you
they
know
didn't.
your parents?
I'm trying to think of their names. I want to
Right.
say it
He's like,
starts
I
with a
believe they went to
P.
Catholic school. That's amazing.
That is. Isn't it crazy to think of the things people used to like? That used to be okay. People used to say that to their friends and be like, "Oh yeah, we don't do that, but that's not crazy."
People were literally getting 15-year-olds pregnant and marrying them, and they were like
smoking
30.
on planes and stuff.
You
like
know,
that.
to this day, I literally said that because you can still see the ashtrays in some of the plane, like in the older planes. You can
Oh, yeah.
still
You're
see-
like, how old
that's-
is this plane?
And
I always wonder.
But the thing is, I was alive. I mean, I was born in 88. They said they outlawed smoking cigarettes on planes in 1990, 91.
It was that late?
Yeah. It was like 90, 99.
Well, it's crazy even to think like when I was a kid, you could smoke at restaurants.
And smoking and non-smoking sections, like
Smoking
Yeah.
non-smoking
But the
sections.
fact that even in 91, you weren't smart enough to realize how smoke works. Like
I
it
know.
travels through restaurants.
You can see it.
Yeah, it doesn't stop it. You just don't have it directly in your
Is
food.
there something in your mind that you go, this is the thing that in 20 years people will be like, I can't believe we all did this?
Oh, like what we're doing now.
What we're doing, because
Oh,
there is
yeah,
something.
Of course.
Well, think about it like
It's
this.
phone stuff.
We already have
Probably
it. Think
phone
about it
stuff.
like this.
Yeah.
I was with some, like, talking to some kids recently, and no bullshit. He was like, what was an iPod like? I was like, what?
Oh, really?
And it really hit me. I was like, and actually, it's dead technology. You would never have an iPod now. You have an iPod, you have a phone. But the fact that he asked me what was it like, I'm like, they're like, and then you had a CD player too. I'm like, buddy, my parents fucking splurge bought me the non-skip CD player. I could throw that bitch up and still listen to the song.
I remember
but that's crazy.
My dad had a 6-changer in his trunk.
That's pretty
A
crazy.
CD 6-changer.
Yeah, my mom had
But
that.
it sounded like rich guy stuff. And then when in functional wise, it was the worst thing on earth. Because you'd have to stop the car and go change.
But even during that time, you can literally store 6 of them and play.
Yeah.
But
I
no
remember I
matter
got
of
one of
fact,
those for my bedroom in high school, and it's so funny to look back on because you changed the CDs. It was like, and you're like, it was quicker if I just changed it myself. It was the most useless technology.
But it felt rich.
Oh, it felt amazing.
it felt rich. Yeah. Back to the. In the late 90s, didn't Seinfeld date like a high school kid?
Yeah. That she was like in
Way
high
late
school,
90s.
like 11th
Yeah.
grade. Yeah, like 97, 98 maybe.
So probably someone who was my age at the time.
Right.
I was like a junior.
But we
in high
all
school.
knew that. But here's the thing. It's so crazy because the outrage now is like, well, I don't know how you're going to get somebody for 25, 30 years ago, especially when I remember when we were in high school and there would be like the hottest chicks and we're like, oh, she only dates college guys.
Yes, of
she was
course.
like 15 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And, you know, and back then he was just like, God, I wish I was a college
Yeah.
guy. You didn't even realize the level of pedophilia because that's what it's called now, pedophilia. But it's like, that was just what we accepted. It's like she likes older men. And we never thought anything else. Like they would literally be in their cars in the parking lot waiting for them after
Yeah.
school. That's wild to think about now.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
think of if there was a girl at your school who was dating like a famous comedian at the time.
What time do you get out of school? I'm going to pick you up in my Porsche outside your school.
Good.
There he is. There he is. I mean, he has to warm up. See, we're putting him on the spot too early. We got to let him like organically get into it.
Why do they call them gym shorts? You're not wearing
He's
them.
been waiting all these episodes for pedophilia to come up, and finally, I'm here. We bring it up. He's ready.
What do they call them? Gym shorts. Is the guy's name Jim?
That is ridiculous.
But that would have been, she would have been the popular girl in school. I remember like,
She was always a
do you
popular-
remember Cindy? She's
was-
dating
yeah.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Like you'd want to be friends with her.
Yeah.
To hopefully
That's
meet.
probably the good thing we don't talk enough about phone, social media, internet is like it takes a couple people like, this fucked up, and everyone's like, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. But when you're in a small group,
Yeah.
and you just think something's normal, you're like, yeah, we swim naked, everyone does
Even
that.
18, I remember a freshman year of college, my buddy was in school in San Francisco and said a girl in his dorm was dating Adam Duritz, the singer from Counting Crows, who was like late 30s at the time. And she was 18, which I get, it's fine by law. But they all just thought she was the coolest person on earth. Yeah. Literally no one thought it. Everyone was like, we got to meet Adam Duritz. He showed up to our frat party last week. How cool are we?
And now you're looking back, like even at my age of 36, I'm like, you go into a frat.
yeah, freshman frat party.
Well, it's so funny how that also only works that way. Like, there's never, there's
never a hot chick.
There's never a guy who's like, I'm dating Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She was like, I don't want anything to do with this fucking 18-year-old loser.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's always the men. We creep it up for sure.
Yeah, it works. You were asking me, so we're on the floor of my building right now. Full disclosure, I know most of my neighbors. You were asking how I know my neighbors. Because I think most people in New York don't know their neighbors. Is it true?
I don't care about my neighbors.
I don't. Yeah.
So here's what I know what it is. That's why I want to wait straight for the air. My wife is a very friendly Asian person, right?
Okay.
I think being a Chinese woman who's super friendly, she just very easily meets everyone around here. Everyone in the neighborhood, everyone knows her. She's somehow more memorable, I think, than just like
Somehow.
a white guy.
She's a nice Chinese lady.
She's very nice. No, I'm
with
giving her
perfect
credit.
English.
Yes.
Very memorable.
Yeah.
So you're saying she hits every demographic?
Yeah, I think everyone's like open to meeting her.
She's like,
He's not racist because he's married to her.
she's like the Will Smith of the
they
building.
most of them don't know who I am. Like, we'll meet people and she'll meet people, and sometimes I'll even be with them, and she'll be like, "Oh, it's my husband." And then 2 weeks later, I'll be on the street. I'll say hi to him, and they'll be like, "Huh?" Yeah. They don't remember me, but then I'll see her. If I'm with her, they're like, "Yay! How's it going?"
That's so hurtful.
I don't mind.
You're not memorable.
I'm not as memorable as my wife, but it's true love. You know.
So she's kind of like The Rock, Will Smith. She hits every demographic. Everyone's like, we love this person,
including Chris Rock.
Now, if only we had a Chris Rock impression.
Every demographic.
I love black people, but I hate.
No.
In unison, we all, when our powers combine.
Whoa.
I was like, where's Joe going with this? I was like, is he going to finish the bit?
Is that Chris Rock or Rush Limbaugh back there?
Everybody's hand was just over like, whoa.
So you're filming a comedy special very soon.
Yes.
At the Comedy Cellar.
Yes.
I want to talk about, there's a story behind this, but I want to save it for our Patreon.
Okay.
The backstory on why you're doing it now.
Okay.
Because there's been attempts to do this in the past.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a whole debacle. But it's more, I think it's a behind the scenes comedy thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to besmirch anyone on.
We can do
We'll
besmirch
save
on
for the Patreon, so the people have to pay for
That's
it.
where the besmirching happens.
It's only a select few people.
That's exactly why I thought it was Patreon. The second you said besmirch, Phil realized why I wanted to save it. We besmirch everyone on Patreon.
Oh, that's exciting.
A couple of weeks ago,
We
put
name
up,
names on Patreon. Hey, if you pay for it, you can hear the fucking real convo.
Exactly. A couple weeks ago, we put out on our main feed like a Patreon episode. Like, oh, this is what our Patreon sample of our Patreon thing. I was putting that episode together. There was almost nothing we could use because there's so much besmirching happening. I'm like, we can't use any of these clips. It's all us naming real names of people.
I was like, fuck them too.
And the New York City comedy scene on the air.
That's great. I'm excited. You know what? I'll subscribe to the Patreon. You just got me.
There you go.
I'm in.
You haven't even told the story yet. All right, we'll be right back with your black and white advice questions and answers, everybody.
We're shipping Father's Day gifts with a rapid-fire round of questions. Ready?
Yes, my gift. Can you pack it?
Yep.
Ship it.
Yes.
Guarantee it.
Of course.
Oh, send a set of golf clubs.
Oh, hole in one.
Protect electronics. Dog-proof it. Return it if they hate it.
Yes, no, and yeah.
Are you the UPS store?
Hey, we have a winner!
Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Visit a store today.
Hey, you want to get bonus content, early episodes, and have your questions answered on the show?
Well, then subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/blackandwhiteadvice and subscribe right now.
Do it, and we'll give you a shout out on a future episode.
And I might call you the N-word.
All right, we're back. Question number 1 comes to us from George in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Sorry, I was trying to decide which one to start with. George in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He says, white guy here. I want to
That's
know.
how we introduce ourselves.
White guy.
That's how I start.
You know he did both thumbs.
That's how I start every email. I go, hey, white guy here.
Shaun Murphy.
I wonder if I could get a refund.
Howdy doody, white guy here. Yippity doo. White guy here. I want to know, whenever there are burglar alarm commercials on TV, the criminal is always a white guy.
They know, right? They know what to do.
He says, is this taking jobs away from black, Asian, and Latino actors?
That's fucking... that is a fucking insane...
George the white guy, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
White guy here.
He's just looking out for people.
Why isn't it more accurate to real life? Nah, because they know the type of backlash they would see because there was a time, it was called the 90s, when the robber was always black. And
yes.
the drug dealer was always black. And it got to a point, it was like, you do know we do other shit. And so they have to switch it up. Now they literally go the complete opposite.
Now it's
direction.
just all white
Yeah,
people.
they're going to find the complete opposite of
But you know what? Now what you could do, maybe black criminal, black house owner.
Yeah. Oh, so everybody.
Double up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna have a black house owner. Black house owner with a white man.
How many more years of exclusive white guy criminals on TV until we're even? Is the question.
At least 60. TV's been around for about 60 years. So.
We got a lot of catching up to do.
I will say there was eras. I like the kind of terrorist. How you can watch terrorists throughout the decades to know who were fighting. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it'll be. There was a decade where it was just Middle Eastern people would be the terrorists.
Then it was
like,
Asian.
Was it Russians in the 80s?
Yeah,
Or
so
kind of like Eastern European-ish.
Yeah, and now it's back to that.
Now it's back to that.
Yes.
It was like the Balkans, like Vladi Divac looking guys.
Yeah.
Because like, are they Serbian? Where are they from? And then it went Middle Eastern around 9/11. Now we're back to Russian, right?
I think so. I think
like
we've
the
come
big
back
movies.
around.
Now it's like Nikola Jokic.
Now it's it's Jokic.
It's like a big white man.
Have you seen his brothers?
He's huge. They're huge.
They are.
He's like the baby of the family.
enormous.
Yeah.
They look like UFC fighters, but they're like 7'5".
I hear they drink their horse's milk. That's how they get so big.
That's how they get so big.
And over there, they don't have cow milk. They drink horse
They're
milk.
like strongman competition guys.
Yeah, they're
like
huge.
big
Are
fat
they
gut.
actually strongman competition?
I don't know if they are.
They
but
look like
they're like big gut, but also
they
like
have huge
jacked.
arms. Yeah.
Yeah. The scariest people on earth. So, all right. So we got about 50 more years, 40 more years.
40 more years of white
criminals
white
on
criminals.
TV, exclusively breaking into your home.
Yeah.
But so is it taking jobs away? Is his question? I like how he framed it in a way where he's just looking out for others.
Like his racism is like he's like trying to look out. No, they're not taking jobs away for us. We can play every role. Thank you, George.
And it's like, if you're in real life, if Turner has a house, say you have a house, someone breaks in, you want it to be a white guy.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable phone call if it's not. Yeah.
Describe him. Come on.
Unique hair.
Anyone.
Unique hair. Seems very fast. And he's a jumper.
Lightning quick.
Like,
you should see his 40 time.
And I think he can rap. That's all I'm going to say.
He seems very nice.
Yeah, seems very nice. Probably just a fortunate circumstance.
Yeah. Got backed into a corner by society.
I wouldn't cast him in the commercial. I'll tell you that.
Looks nothing like the commercial. That's why I didn't expect them.
Oh my God!
I wasn't looking
White
for
people
him.
trying to describe black people without being racist is crazy.
Next question. This is from Marcia in Portland, Oregon. She says, the era of, in quotes, female version of Ghostbusters.
What a terrible movie that was.
She says, that seems to be over. But if you were to pitch a female version of a typical male movie or a black version of a white movie or etc., what would you pitch?
Ooh.
I have a couple ideas.
I think for the next 007, I have no problem with Idris Elba being 007.
I'm almost shocked it hasn't been a black person.
Because they've talked about it. The internet goes crazy. They're like, do not fucking change. Which I do agree. I don't want I'm saying if they had to do it, make him. But I prefer a white 007 because I grew up on, like, my grandfather and I watched all the James Bond. Like, Sean Connery's my favorite. So I get it. Like, it's not like an outrage like The Black Mermaid. I don't, you know what I mean? I was like, I thought it was still a great movie. I get why. There's certain roles where it's just like, just keep it. Because they, you know what I mean? Somebody was like, so what if Tom Cruise plays the next Black Panther? I was like, and we'll burn this city to the ground. So I get it.
Didn't he play a Chinese, like...
First of all, The Last Samurai was amazing. But what's
Japanese
his...
samurai,
bro, but, I mean, you already know, Paul Mooney already had he had a great bit. He was like, you got Tom Cruise playing The Last Samurai.
That's a good Paul Mooney.
He was like... What would he say? He was like, that's why he was like, we ought to have a movie called The Last Nigga on Earth, starring Tom Hanks. He was like, you see that? Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just certain things. It's like, why are you here? Why did the white man need to come and save the samurai? You ain't have no real motherfucking Asian samurai that could have saved the whole. You need a white man to come over and become a samurai to save your whole hair. It was a great movie. Great movie. Great movie. One of my favorites.
Tom Cruise being Black Panther. The narrative, like the first 30 minutes would be like, hear us out.
Hear us The pitch.
Yeah, all these people died, and then he was around, and like the narrative,
Post-apocalyptic.
He did a 23andMe. He was an 8th Wakandan. Yeah, it's like it's too much. It's too much.
So give us your pitches.
You could easily do Hoosiers with like
all black,
Caitlin Clark. No, just like women, like a female.
Oh, I was like, you want to change Hoosiers to all black?
That would be. Well, you could actually do that.
That's already been done. It's called Glory Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Sunset Park?
Oh,
remember that movie?
I remember. I forgot about that.
When
movie.
Rita Wilson, was that her name? Whatever. Carla from Cheers coached a black basketball team.
I do remember that movie. Yes.
And the funniest part about it was supposed to be Sunset Park, Brooklyn, which now is all Chinese. But at that time was like a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it's like she's going into the hood to coach a black basketball team. But that would just be a Chinese people basketball team.
Yeah, which they could still do it, man. They could still do it.
So I guess they've done versions of that.
It's a black woman going into Sunset Park coaching an all-Chinese basketball team.
Now we're talking.
They should just redo them all. What are those movies where like the white teacher would come into the black neighborhood? What was
they
that,
should
like Dangerous Mind? They should reverse that.
Well, no.
That would be pretty fun. Like a black woman comes into like all white suburbs and is like, Taylor Swift was kind of like the first poet.
You wouldn't go suburb. You would go like methed out Rust Belt town, like down on its luck Appalachian mountains. And it would be a rich black person from the city goes to save like the poor white. Like
the movie would be 7 minutes long. The lynching would take 6. Small black man goes to a small Appalachian town. They would never hear from him.
How furious would like that contingent of white people be?
So what would you do?
You know what I mean? If you just
that would be
what franchise would make white people the most mad if it got flipped?
A League of Their Own. All hood sisters.
That sounds like a good movie.
Yeah. They was like, Kiki, you gotta hit this bitch.
Ghostbusters pissed people.
And then you got instead of Tom Cruise, some black guy was like, "There's no smoking in baseball." Oh, that would piss people off pretty good in the white community.
Next question.
Yes, sir. Before I get canceled.
Let's see. This is from Monroe in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
White guy here.
Yeah. Says I'm a black guy wondering.
What's wrong? God damn.
I'm a black guy. I'm wondering, why do white people like putting their bare feet on the dashboard?
Let me tell you something. Why do they like putting their bare feet on anything that's not
I agree.
It is a privileged mindset that, what are you going to do about it?
Look at me right now.
White people love bare feet.
They
and
do.
I hate bare feet. I'm anti-feet. I'm socks all the way, shoes. I don't want to even think about bare feet.
They call it grounding. They think they're becoming one with the earth. We call it dirty.
He says it all the time.
Yeah,
He's always talking about grounding.
We call it fucking
I won't
dirty.
shut up about grounding over here.
Dude, feet on dashboards. White people, another thing, on road trips, they always got their feet out the window.
Yeah,
out the
window.
mirror.
That's big.
Yeah. That's weird to me.
I agree.
I'm like, you
I
don't
agree
feel
with
them
that.
bugs slapping against the soles of your feet. Then the worst of the worst, which will get you fucked up and probably get me on a no-fly list, do not put your toes on the plane between the seats. If I see them motherfuckers,
Yes.
I'm going to stab
100%.
them. I'm going to stab them with
100%.
my keys, something sharp. I'm like, oh, sorry. Because why the fuck do you think that your toe jam should be beside me? I paid the same amount for this fucking economy class ticket you did, you bitch. Don't you
Completely
ever
on board.
fucking put your toe
Completely
by
on
me.
board.
Yeah.
Now, where do you go? Where's the worst place you went bare feet? Because you seem like a barefoot.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I grew up in California, so flip-flops everywhere for like entire high school, to school every day.
Even like nice events?
No, not nice events, but most people would wear flip-flops in school. Yeah. And then I went to college in Miami, Florida, so same thing. Flip-flops in class and everything. So then it just leads to bare feet because flip-flops, they flop off, and then, you're bare feet. But he wants to know the answer to the question.
Before we get into that, we'll get to that. I think people that wear flip-flops in New York City are fucking animals.
I also agree. I agree with that.
All this fucking, especially if it starts raining, the amount of fluid and
garbage water
that is on the heels.
Yep.
And then white people then have the nerve not to wash their feet. Because then they, like we talked about, they say they let the soap run down, and that's good enough. So not
wash
only
your feet, Turner.
Yeah. So not only have you his feet are covered.
Here comes Phil and the other white guest.
His feet are fucking covered. So this isn't him. Y'all walking around this sewer water,
We're in my
flopping
home
away
right now.
Flopping away. You go outside in flip-flops, and when it rains, you flop, and then you come home, and then you don't soak them. You just let the water
I flop
run.
in the rain.
Oh, God.
You're more flop than flip.
Women be flopping.
Women, whites be flopping. Women and
I
whites.
will say
I never got the foot thing. I despise the foot thing.
The foot thing.
The foot thing. The no shoes, no socks.
I hate
think you
flip-flops.
cover up your shame.
If you want to ask, it's not ashamed of it, very proud of it. But if you want to, I would say most likely, and I have no recollection of this, but just knowing me, most likely at some point I wore flip-flops on the subway. I would say most likely.
I would bet both my testicles on it that you have.
I'm sure I have. I've taken the
I
subway.
wouldn't lose a wink of sleep over.
Wait a second. I can go 100%. I've taken the subway to the beach before.
Yes.
So then, therefore,
that's why I knew my balls were safe. I was like, you definitely.
What about on a plane?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm always freezing on planes. But I would have if it was warm enough. Sure.
I think you're only allowed to take your shoes or socks off barefoot in 4 places. The 4 B's.
This is such
the 4 B's.
Such an East
No.
Coast
4 B's.
opinion.
Bed, bath, beach,
Beyond.
Buddhist temple. Those are the 4 B's. 4 B's. You could be.
Bed, bath,
you could be
beach,
free.
and Buddhist temple.
That's it.
I mean, honestly,
everywhere else you got to be covered.
Did you say beach in there?
Yeah.
Did you say public swimming pool?
No, it doesn't start with a B.
Yeah,
bed, bath.
I'm with Shaun. Feet should be Muslim. All right, they should be covered at all times unless for your partner.
I disagree.
Yeah, cover it up.
Yeah,
you guys got to live.
Put a hijab
We
on
are
your
living.
toes.
You got to live a little. I'm going to tell you why people. Can we get to the answer? I know the answer.
No, we want to shame you more.
Why? I'm not ashamed. This isn't working. I feel fine. I'm from California. Everyone walks around in flip-flops all the time.
And they're wrong. That's why you
all right, speak your piece, Toe Jam.
All right, so people. I have had toe jam.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's going to make me sick.
No, I don't wear shoes that often. It's not my fault.
Toe Jam is such a I did have toe. Oh, my God. And then you want to put your feet on shit.
Oh, you ever had a hangnail with just the pus coming out?
No.
What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, it's rough.
What are you doing here?
No, because sometimes the subway water
some of our
gets in your
listeners-
toes.
Some of our listeners are eating
The
lunch
subway
right now.
water?
Yeah, some of our listeners do this during lunch. Please, let's not ruin that for them. Oh, God.
So the reason why is because everyone wants to be in Jamaica all the time. Everyone wants to be on the beach. You can't always afford it. So the closest you can get when you put your feet up and they're sticking out the window and somebody's your best girl's driving the car.
Your best girl is so ridiculous.
You're going down the highway, can't drive 55. You feel like Eddie Money out there and the wind's blowing in your feet. It's the cheapest vacation you can get. All right, that's the show, everybody. I think that's it. Did we get to the end of it?
One more question for Patreon. Oh,
We got one more question for Patreon coming after the break. We're also getting the behind-the-scenes story on Patreon of why the ups and downs, trials and tribulations of filming your comedy special. Your latest one. What's the first one called? Which is out now?
It's called Neil on YouTube. Check it out.
Neil on YouTube. Go check it out now. We didn't even get into the fact that was the first one you did with Mark Norman. You were opening for Mark Norman on the road, and you filmed it over a certain amount of days.
No, the first one I just did.
Oh, that was just you.
I just did in Buffalo. I said, "Hey, go swim with your best pals naked, and then come to a show." I filled out that
best
show.
girl.
Bunch of naked people.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right, everybody, stick around for Patreon after the music. One last
Wait,
thing.
do we have black and white truths?
Yes,
Dark truths?
we got white lies and dark truths. This is our fact check segment of the show. Everything we've been saying, he's been clickety-clacking away back there, fact checking it. Joe Russell, what do we got? What do we get right? What do we get wrong?
Well, you guys are talking about putting your feet up there on the dashboard, and but that's dangerous, guys. You know that because the airbag is there too, and it's designed to deploy at a high speed.
It'll blow your asshole.
So if there's a crash and your legs are on the dashboard, when the airbag deploys, it can strike your legs with immense force, leading to serious injuries like fractures, dislocations, and other trauma.
Worth it.
And then you end up no feet, and I come in and
Hey, ladies. That it? That's the show, everybody. Patreon subscribers, stick around. Everybody else, stay black.
Stay black.
You've got a question, but you're scared to ask. Just drop the boys a message, cause they're up to the task. They're rolling the dice, they ain't always nice, but you can't think twice and give it black and white advice. Black and white advice.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.